What's up guys, Xuen here. Today we are going to be going over the PvP talents again. Once again, I have Balance with me. If you want to introduce yourself again to anyone that did not see the first video.
Hey guys, I'm Balance. I play Windwalker and I'm a 4-time rank 1 gladiator, and I stream on Twitch and I compete in tournaments on the occasion.
Again, I think it's better to have more than one head, especially with someone as experienced as Balance, to sort of see other things. Maybe I would miss something, or maybe he'd miss something, and we can kind of bounce ideas off each other. So that's what we're going to be doing today with the PvP talents. So looking at the first talent tree, we have Gladiator's Medallion, Adaption, and Relentlessness. And the first question that pops to mind is if humans are going to still get their trinket, their passive trinket. And if so, they're looking more overpowered.
Yeah, that would definitely be pretty crazy if they still had that, because then you could just take Adaption or Relentless. Yeah, sorry.
That's fine.
It's hard to read. But yeah.
In Relentlessness, duration of incoming crowd control effects is reduced by 25%, and Adaptation makes it so where a 5-second or longer CC will be removed shortly after applied, so maybe 1 second after being applied it will automatically removed. I could see that working very, very well against something like RMD if you don't have a trinket caught in like a smoke bomb, which normally you should save your trinket for that, but there are situations that you do have to trinket that before.
I think since I'm assuming it'll just remove a random CC that's longer than 5 seconds, so, and it has a 1.5 minute cooldown, so that's basically almost a trinket. So that's a pretty long cooldown for it just to take off something random. And in PvP, I don't like random things, so absolutely. I think Relentlessness, added up, that's going to be removing a lot more CC than Adaptation or Gladiator's Medallion would. But I'm probably going to go with Gladiator's Medallion just because I need that, I need to be able to use it when I want it. But Relentlessness, if the humans keep their racial, that's probably what I'd be going, because have you ever played Orc, after it's got buffed? Yeah, so the 20% stun reduction, it's so noticeable when I fight RMD that I think Relentless with that 25% reduction would be pretty crazy.
Another thing to note that I just thought of is that, versus something like RMD, where normally you would have one trinket, you might be able to take Relentlessness, because you do have Nimble Brew. So a comp that relies a lot on stuns, you might be able to take that instead.
Well,
it's a possibility.
Aren't they removing Nimble Brew in Legion?
Are they? I hope not.
I heard somewhere that that's what they were doing.
I hope not.
Yeah, that would suck, but that's what someone told me. I'll check up on it later. We'll see.
Next tier is Train of Thought, Mind Quickness, and Initiation. Personally, I think Mind Quickness is going to be the talent to go to, because the other two seem kind of crap.
Yeah, Initiation is definitely terrible, awful. Never gonna take that. Mind Quickness, we definitely need haste because our energy regen is gonna be a little questionable with the 50 energy on the jab. And then if Train of Thought, if that gets canceled by just anything hitting you, a warrior's just whirlwind, he's on, let's say you're playing with a shaman and he's hitting your shaman.
Know if there's a dot that could a DK.
Yeah, so just any old dot could cancel it. So that might not be up much at all. So Mind Quickness would probably be the best choice. I agree.
That could be good for a rogue though. Rogue opener. So that could be pretty intense.
For sure. Yeah.
So the next tier is Maneuverability, and then Twin Spirits, and then Fast Feet. You were saying that sometimes you take in the other PvE talents, you sometimes take the increased roll. And I believe in the artifact weapon you have another roll, which we're going to be covering. So what is that, 5 rolls?
Yeah, you could basically roll whenever you want. You'll never run out of rolls. So that's pretty crazy mobility. It looks like, from what I've seen with other classes, it seems like every melee is going to have really crazy mobility, and Demon Hunters are supposed to be the ones with the best mobility, but honestly, Monk mobility looks almost better than Demon Hunters right now. With the the amount of speed increases and number of rolls and all that stuff.
Again, the Twin Spirits, not too sure about that. There used to be a glitch, I don't know if you remember, back in Mists, where you could port with your Transcendence if you didn't have a Transcendent's port already down, you could port with your Storm Within Fire if you had it on the target.
Yeah, I remember that. That was cool.
So that was interesting. But the fast feed also looks really good. So if you're constantly being trained by a team, you have 10% more movement speed. So
yeah, I could see that being good. If you like, it would basically, whenever you're going to be attacked by something, you're probably going to be slowed. So that would just take 10% off that slow, which could be good. But I don't know if that'd be better than maneuverability, because with the extra, I mean, I don't know. Depending on like if you're playing Celerity or with your artifact weapon, depending on how many rolls you have already, you might not even need that extra roll. So you might just take fast feet. But we'll see. We'll see.
Moving on to the next talent tree, and this is one of my theories for Legion, is the whirling kick. So spinning crane kick increases the movement speed by up to 100% and then heals you for 10% of your maximum health over 5 seconds. The number of targets struck by spinning crane kick increases this effect. Now, the thing that I'm worried about is that if this is going to apply to Rushing Jade and Win, and if it does, this is going to be a very, very good talent. There are some things like the perk that we get leveling from level 90 to 100 in Mud that increases our spinning crane kick speed and attacks by 50%. It does 50% faster attacks, but it ends 50% faster. That does not apply to Rushing Jade Wind if you pick it. So there has been situations where it doesn't apply, but I'm really hoping that this applies to Rushing Jade Wind, because you could just keep Rushing Jade Wind up and pretty much NASCAR your way for anything. And also have a very powerful hot. So
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
I feel like that's something Blizzard might like think would be a little too strong and might nerf that. So I don't know if it would work with Rushing Jade Wind. Plus, this only lasts 5 seconds, and I'm assuming it's only off the first initial hit, and not like if you keep hitting, it keeps being reapplied. I don't think.
One thing that Rushing Jade Wind does do, if you have Rushing Jade Wind up, and if you hit 3 targets, if you hit 2 targets with your Rushing Jade Wind, and then move to a 3rd target that you did hit initially, it will give you a chi. So, as long as you're constantly hitting different targets, you could actually keep this up. If it is applied to Rushing Jade Wind.
In the Legion talent calculator, in the PvP one, or PvE one, it doesn't actually say that it'll give you an extra chi anymore. So that might be something they removed. So
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So the other two are Fortifying Elixir and then Zen Meditation. And Zen Meditation is...
I'm a little confused about that.
Normally, if you get hit with a melee attack, it will cancel the effect. So this is something that could be interesting, definitely. If it's a 90% damage reduction for 4 seconds, it is a 3-minute cooldown, and it's a 4-second cast. So obviously they would have to kick you, but what do you think about that?
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't see me using this much at all, unless they give you like War Master on it. I remember in MOP, I believe you couldn't be locked out on it. You could be silenced, which took it off, and a lot of classes like mages and warlocks had silence built into their kick. So when they would kick you, it wouldn't actually lock you out; it would just silence you. But in WoD, they made it kickable, so you can get locked out, and it broke on melee. But considering you could just, looks like they're gonna be adding a lot of stuns and stuff in Legion, like outlaw rogues and subtlety rogues. They're gonna be getting stuns like almost whenever they need them, and then warriors, Stormbolt, charge stun, all that stuff. Getting a full 4-second Zen meditation off probably isn't gonna be like a common thing. It's, in my eyes, you'll just get stopped on it every time.
Absolutely.
So, and then Fortifying Brew, I could see that being good, if depending on whirling kicks, depending on how that turns out. That's like, looking at it right now, it's probably going to be the best option, unless they like nerf it some way. But Fortifying Brew would definitely be better than Zen Meditation. But yeah.
I don't agree with the channel time for the cooldown. I mean, maybe if it was like 30 to 45 seconds, it'd be more viable.
Yeah.
But a 3-minute cooldown for a 4-second cast is just not worth it. I do hope that they do change Fortifying Brew, because it is the worst wall in the game right now. Absolutely the worst wall in the game. I'd rather them give us just a 20% damage reduction than a last stand, because that can really F you up if you don't get healed before it ends. I've had that for me quite a bit. But Moving on to the 5th tier, so we have Yulong's Gift. So you roll Cheat Torpedo, Flying Serpent Kick, abilities Dispel all snares. I believe they're probably listening to your post on the forums of that, because that is something that has been needed for a while. Then we have Double Dragon, so an extra charge of Flying Serpent Kick, and then Ride the Wind, which is probably not really a good choice for PvP. I could see it being used for maybe some BGs, but definitely not arenas over the other two. But what do you think about those?
I was thinking about this the other day, and Ride the Wind, like challenge modes, like I don't know if you ever done those. Oh wait, it's a PvP talent here. What am I talking about? But like, well, if it did work in challenge modes, that'd be kind of cool. Give your whole team like 30% movement speed increase. But PvP, definitely not. You're never going to be using Flying Serpent Kick for your team, so that's like just an awful talent in my opinion.
Yeah.
Double Dragon, I could see that being very cool for like RBGs. Like as soon as the gates open, you Flying Serpent Kick into another Flying Serpent Kick into like 5 rolls or something, and you're already at a base and you can stop the other team from capping. So I'm kind of excited for this because I know in MOP you could like get a slow fall with your Flying Serpent Kick and get to the flag and cap it really quick, and that's what I used to do, but they kind of made that impossible now in WoD. So if monks would be good in RBGs again because of Double Dragon and all the extra rolls we're getting, so you can like stop people from capping bases, I would love to do that because I had a lot of fun in MOP doing that, but now I just don't even RBG anymore. And this could also be good in arena versus like double melee, because if you do you ever get like charged on your Flying Serpent Kick right when you use it, and then or you get rooted and it's just on cooldown and you move nowhere? Well, you get another one and you get to get away, you know. Or if you don't even get charged, like you fly across the map, they get to you, you fly right back, and then that just like completely negates the CC that would be on your healer, and then he gets to come out and heal you, and they can't get back to you instantly. So
something that I wish they would have kept was in the WoD beta. There used to be a bug in MOP. So they said that it was a bug in the WoD beta, when technically if it's a bug, they would note it for the beta. So in my opinion, it wasn't a bug, it was just Blizzard kind of lying. Didn't want to admit that they were trying to see if it worked, but Flying Serpent Kick used to be controlled to where you can, you know, turn while you're Flying Serpent Kicking, and I thought that was one of the coolest things if they actually made that into WoD. It's actually very, very strong because you could Flying Serpent Kick and just run behind a pillar immediately to heal up, which is really nice. But maybe they'll bring that back. I don't know. That would be insane mobility though.
Yeah, that would.
But moving on, so we got the Rushing Tiger Palm, which is very interesting. Tiger Palm has a 10-yard range, slows the target by 50% for 2 seconds, and when used, you instantly dash to your target, so that's another snare as well. And then the Heavy-Handed Strikes is probably going to be the one that we take because of the stun. And again, baseline Fist of Fury is going to be able to be channeled while moving, so that's baseline. Still, I believe you're going to get rooted or stopped. You know, I haven't been that high rated this season or in WoD at all. Can't really find teams that Balance has, and I'm pretty sure when you cast your Fist of Fury, that's something that immediately gets stopped by high rated players because you know how much damage it does. And then we get Spinning Fire Blossoms back, which is really nice. But what do you think of these talent choices? Because they're all really good, but it's really hard to pick between them.
Initially, when I was first reading them and I saw Rushing Tiger Palm and saw that it would teleport you, slow the target, and it was on the 10-yard range, and my first thought was like, this is awesome. We're going to have like a 0 cooldown Shadow Step, and we can just spam it. But then I remember Tiger Palm has a 50 energy cost instead of 1 chi cost. So then I got a little sad because I wouldn't be able to spam this anymore, because I was like, in my head I was going to make all these cool plays where I would like focus Tiger Palm the healer into a kick, into a Tiger Palm back on the DPS, so I teleport around, and then that'd be really cool. But then soon I remembered that it had 50 energy. I got real sad. So just because the energy cost of Rushing Tiger Palm, I don't know if it would be the best choice to go Rushing Tiger Palm compared to Fist of Fury. And I know right now in WoD, Fist of Fury is doing crazy damage, but if that gets scaled back and they change like our damage into our Blackout kicks and Rising Sun kicks, then Heavy-Handed Strikes might not be that good because Fist of Fury won't be doing that much damage, so it won't be that important to stun every single person on the team. And then Spinning a Fire Blossom, it's so cruel for them to put it on a tier with a Fist of Fury stun, and I wish they would just give us that back because I missed it so much. And then
It's one of those abilities where I swear, it was like Fell Flame for Warlocks, to where someone at the Blizzard conference room was really drunk one day, and they're like, "Oh hey, does anyone use this ability in PvE?" It's like, nope, we need to take ability away from Monk. Let's just take away Spinning Fire Blast. And I cried. Because that was one of the coolest abilities. Like, you could be on the other side of the arena, you could build up Tiger's Eye Brew if they didn't want to open. You can't do that with Chi Expulsion, but you have to go into a 40-yard range, so...
Yeah. I remember when priests were actually good in MoP. They kind of got buffed now, but for the most part in WoD, they haven't been good. And I remember in MoP, I would like be on a mage, and I see the priest going in for the fear, and I would turn to him, and I would shoot my Spinning Fire Blossoms to root him, so he couldn't get the fear on my healer, and I would keep attacking. That was like the coolest thing ever in my eyes, but they got rid of that. And
you
so,
could predict Warrior Storm Bolts. What I would do is predict Warrior Storm Bolts, and I would root them right outside their Storm Bolt, so I wouldn't have to trinket.
Very good.
That's another thing. But yeah, because we do get Mind Quickness and the 40 energy from Artifact Weapon, which we'll be covering in the next video. So we are going to have quite a bit of haste. So again, this can be better tested in beta or live. But Rushing Tiger Palm could work depending on how many times we could get Tiger Palm off. So
yeah, and then honestly, if you have Rushing Tiger Palm, you probably won't need Dizzying Kicks from the other tier, the PvE tier. So that means you can take Leg Sweep, and then if you have Leg Sweep, then you might not need the Fist of Fury stun. I'm really concerned about the Fist of Fury stun, because right now, if we didn't have that stun, it would be like so bad. But I don't know.
You could sacrifice the 4-second stun for the talents on the Leg Sweep tier.
That's true.
That's another thing.
There's so many options, man.
What was that? So the talent calculator.
It was Dizzying Kicks and
Dizzying Kicks.
Ring of Peace as well. But no, it's gonna Ring of Peace kind of sucks.
So that's something that could work too.
Yeah.
Because it's only 1 second.
Yeah.
So.
I think I'm gonna have to do a lot of testing with those final tiers and see how much the no stun on Fist of Fury impacts us.
Absolutely.
Because if we could trade it off for Rushing Tiger Palm or Spinning Fire Blossom, those would also really help us as well.
But again, I think this is going to call this video. Guys, be sure to go check out Balance on his Twitch. Give him support. Check him out. I believe he streams whenever he can. Usually late nights. And he's an amazing streamer, amazing monk. So be sure to check him out. And we will see you in the next video.
Peace.